Caleb Barney with Skymount Realty, a independent broker in the Berea, Ohio area. And today I wanted to actually go over some statistics for a neighboring city in Strongsville. So, Strongsville is a suburb just southwest of Cleveland. And basically, what I wanted to go over was some of the market statistics over the past 180 days, so the past 6 months basically, and then just kind of putting things into perspective over the past 5 years as well. So essentially, what we're looking at here is, the market analysis is showing that there have been 319 properties listed in the MLS over the past 180 days. Six of those didn't sell, they expired. 218 did sell. And then the rest of it, we're going to have a combination of 42 that are currently still for sale, 7 that are under contract and allowing showing, so they're contingent, and then 45 which are under contract and they're not allowing showings, meaning that they are pending. We also did have one property expire, meaning basically the listing agreement, the terms ran up while it was under contract. That likely did end up selling, but those are just the statistics that we have here for Strongsville City Schools for the past 180 days, so not quite, a full 6 months here, that have been built basically in 2023 or older. And the reason why I did that is because a lot of the times you'll have builders put new construction houses up for sale in the MLS, and they'll put, maybe a small development of 10, 12 houses up for sale at higher price points. I didn't want it to skew the numbers or anything. So this is just something that I like to kind of keep in mind when looking at city statistics. Of course, when I'm talking with a seller in regards to listing their home for sale, we run comps or comparable listings, and those are houses that are usually within a quarter mile to a half mile. Sometimes we have to stretch that out. Similar bedroom and bathroom count, similar amount of square footage, parking spaces, so garage, attached, detached, stuff like that, and then similar house style too, because ranches will often trade at a different price than split level and colonial houses. So that's basically what we're looking at here. When we're looking at this information, it's always important to just know that as you're going down these columns, they are individually only for that statistic. So basically, this, looking at the max numbers right here, the house with the most amount of bedrooms currently for sale has 5 bedrooms. The house with the most amount of bathrooms currently for sale has a total of 5 bathrooms. So it could be, 5 full bathrooms. It could be a combination of full and half bathrooms, but that's just the total count. And then the house currently for sale with the most amount of square footage currently is 4,200 square feet above grade. So that does not mean that this house is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 4,200 square foot house listed for $949,000. This is just the high number for this category for whatever column you're looking at here. So basically what we are looking at, though, the average house or even the median house for the city of, or for Strongsville City Schools, basically is going to be a 4-bedroom, 3 total bathroom house, about 2,200 square feet, give or take, and it's typically being listed between $365,000 to $400,000 then. The average dollar per square foot for the above grade square footage would basically be between $172 to $182 per square foot. And when we're looking at the average sale, we're actually seeing numbers lower than that. So out of the 218 properties that are selling, on average, it's actually a 3-bedroom house, not a 4-bedroom. The median is a 4-bedroom. Same amount for the bathroom count, about the same for the square footage. And then in regards to the actual, the actual closing price or sale price, we're looking basically between $353,000 to $372,000 then. So our average is $372,000. Obviously, those numbers can be skewed. For example, there's a $3 million sale that's going to bump the average up quite a bit, as opposed to the median, where we're looking at 50% of the houses basically selling below $352,000 and 50% of the houses selling above $352,000. So that's what we're looking at here. But that's just the past 180 days for properties that are in Strongsville City School District. So let's kind of zoom out a little bit and look at the big picture over the past 5 years of where we're at. Starting with the average closing price, and I broke this down by month, so you can see that, again, I used all the same statistics, Strongsville City School District, built in 2023 or older, and you could see that the sale price has continually gone up on a year-over-year basis. Even checking it out, broken down per month, it was a little close in 2024, January 2024 compared to January 2023, and even January 2022. You were not seeing a ton of home price appreciation in that winter month right there. But then it does jump up quite a bit, actually, February 2024 compared to February 2023. It's actually pretty interesting. February 2023 was actually a pretty down month on the sale compared to the years surrounding it too. So every month in 2024 we have seen an increase on year over year, and this is common that you're not always going to see an increase month over month. So it's going to bounce around, 278 to 350 to 325 to 357 month to month. The prices are going to fluctuate a lot more. And that's because we do have a lot of seasonality here. But you'll see on average, basically, we're going up quite a bit on a year-over-year basis. Typically, $15,000, $20,000. Sometimes a little more, sometimes much less. But that's essentially what we're seeing for that home price appreciation. That being said, I don't necessarily like looking at the actual sales price, because we're not necessarily comparing apples to apples. Because let's say maybe the houses that just happen to close just randomly are much larger one month. You have a 4,000 square foot house compared to another month where the average is going to be closer to 2,000 square feet. Yes, that's not likely that you're going to see that dramatic of a difference, but it does happen and it does skew the numbers, and maybe that's why some of the actual closing prices are closing where they're at. So if we go and look at let's see if I have the dollar per square foot ratio, this makes a little more sense to me, because now you're saying, okay, just on a dollar per square foot ratio, what are things trading at? And you can make a more accurate assessment when you're comparing, especially year over year data, to see, okay, it's jumped up $17 from August 2023 to August 2024. Those same months, 2022 to 2023, is $10. Same thing for 2021 to 2022, $20 a square foot difference from 2020 to 2021, and then an $8 jump from 2019 to 2020. So that's basically what we're looking at. Usually I like to look at things as a percentage, because a $10 jump on a $100 per square foot house is going to be much more dramatic as in terms of percentages compared to a $10 jump on a $300,000 house. But that is something that we kind of keep in mind. And again, just realized that the average, or that over time, real estate typically goes up. So that's what we're looking at here. The other thing I did want to point out, though, is that we are seeing fewer home sales, and we've been seeing fewer home sales for the past, almost 2 years now. And that makes sense. One of the podcasts that I listen to, it's called Housing Wire Daily, and it's a great podcast. They'll have a lot of different guests, but one of them is, one of their chief economists, basically, and he'll come on and give a lot of very insightful information. But he stated, even though there is no such thing as a national housing market, he stated as a whole, the United States housing market went into a recession in June of 2022. Basically, that does take a couple of months to play out, and the reason why that's the case is because, usually when you go under contract, you don't close right away. It's going to be a 30 to 45 day close. Midwest wasn't hit quite as hard as some of the other areas like Florida and Texas and California, for example, but we did see quite a slowdown from August to September in 2022. And then continued depressed numbers basically in 2023 and 2024 compared to years past. So just for example, looking at 2024 August home sales, the number of transactions that were completed in August in Strongsville, it was 44. It was also 44 in 2023. So year over year, we're staying the same there. And 2022 was actually 74, then 85 in 2021. So we're seeing anywhere between 30 to almost 50% decreases compared to, your peak sales years in 2021, basically, give or take a couple of months there. So fewer transactions. As I already pointed out, we are seeing those home prices continue to climb. And, people are wondering, okay, well, is there a crash coming or anything like that? And really, I don't see any signs of a crash unless there's going to be a job loss recession specific to certain regions. Like if it's a job loss recession that hits Ohio hard, then sure, you're going to see some people have to sell, and they'll have to sell quickly sometimes. But unless you see that, you could see that demand is still very strong in Strongsville, Ohio. The past couple of months, we've seen 11 days on market for your median days on market. Again, that means 50% of houses are selling quicker than 11 days. 50% of houses are selling longer than 11 days. I don't typically like to use average days to sell for this because you could have something that was dramatically overpriced and listed for 360 days or something where that's going to skew those numbers pretty dramatically. So I like to use the median just to say, okay, what's our 50th percentile here for what we're looking at? So, we really, we were seeing an uptick in days on market January and February, which again isn't uncommon in Northeast Ohio. And especially when you consider, we hit very high interest rates toward the end of last year. Basically on Halloween, the national average for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage hit 8%. So again, you go peak interest rates, basically that's the last day in October, so we'll say in November. So you're going to see those days on market start to jump up because there are probably fewer people willing to buy, meaning those houses that were for sale were sitting on the market a little longer. So, and that is one reason, by the way. You could see the seasonality here, the peaks and valleys. You can see how quickly houses get scooped up. Basically, from March, if you list your house in March on, because April, May, June, July, August, those are your sweet spot months to sell in Northeast Ohio. Then it starts to slow down the second half of the year, but really the first quarter of the year is where we typically see the longest days on market. So that is Strongsville, Ohio, in a nutshell. The housing market update for this year and the past 180 days for this year, as well as some of the history over the past 5 years. If you have any questions on the housing market in general, but particularly in Northeast Ohio and the Cleveland suburbs, I would be happy to have a conversation with you, and feel free to reach out.